Welcome back to the St. Paul Center for Biblical Theology. I'm Beckett, and today we are meditating on Saturday of the 8th week of Ordinary Time. Today's Gospel is from Mark chapter 11, and Jesus' authority is being questioned here. And as always, I'd like to see what the Church Fathers have to say about it. Augustine says that fearing a stoning, but fearing more an admonition of the truth, they answered the truth with a lie, reminiscent of the Scriptures. Injustice has lied within herself. For they said, "We know not." And because they had shut themselves up against him by asserting that they did not know what they knew, the Lord did not open up to them because they did not knock. For it has been said, "Knock, and it will be opened to you." But they only had knocked that it might be opened. But by their denial, they barricaded the door against themselves. And the Lord said to them, "Neither do I tell you by what authority do I do these things." Tertullian goes on to explain that the baptism announced by John formed the subject, even at the time of a question produced by the Lord himself to the legal experts. It concerned whether John's baptism was from heaven or from men. They were unable to give a consistent answer. They did not understand because they did not believe. And the Venerable Bede goes on to say, "It is as if Jesus had said, 'I will not tell you what I know, since you will not confess what you know.' In this way, knowledge is hidden from those who wrongly seek it, principally for two reasons. First, when the one who seeks it does not have sufficient capacity to understand what he is seeking for, and second, when through contempt for the truth one is unworthy of having the subject of his inquiry explained to them. So these critics were most justly set back. They retreated in disgrace." What the Church Fathers are talking about is, in a sense, are we lying to ourselves when we are approaching Christ himself? And that's a good question to all of us. Are we deceiving ourselves? Sometimes in the confessional, I feel the temptation to maybe not confess all my sins because maybe the priest knows me and I might be embarrassed by them. Even though the priest is in persona Christi, in the person of Christ, him forgiving my sins. So I need to confess all of them. I need to share all of them. And that's what's being shown here. The people who were questioning Jesus were holding back because they were afraid. They were holding back the truth because they were afraid of what they might mean. Are we doing the same in our own lives, especially when we encounter Christ through the sacraments? Are we holding back? We can never hold back. We always must approach the sacraments in a spirit of authenticity and sincerity, in a spirit of nakedness before the Lord. For the Lord sees us through and through. He sees all that we've done. We can't keep anything back from him. He sees even the most embarrassing sin that we've ever done. We have to take it all to confession, which is in a spirit of humility. Many times it's a humbling experience in confession. Going to the priest and saying, "Oh, I really don't want to say this, but I kind of have to say it. I'm embarrassed to say that I did these things, but I kind of have to say them." Especially if it's a mortal sin, because you can't approach the Eucharist with a mortal sin on your conscience. The Church teaches that, if you receive, it's a sin to receive the Eucharist with a mortal sin. You have to take your sins to confession, especially if it's a mortal sin. And you can't be embarrassed by it. And if you are embarrassed, go to a confession where the priest is hidden, where the priest is in a confessional box, is in a booth, or the priest isn't looking at you. Find a confessional that way and confess your sins that way, but confess all of them and be as thorough as possible. And one of the best ways to be as thorough as possible is to prepare a list before you go into the confessional. And I know that any priest who's watching this, as if a priest would want to watch me speak, but if a priest is watching this, he's probably thanking me right now, because I know many people who don't go into the confessional and all they do is bring gossip. Never go to the confessional to bring gossip, to say, bless me for I have sinned. It has been a month since my last confession, and you should hear what my neighbor did. No, that's not a confession. You should hear what my husband is doing. That's not a confession. Prepare a list beforehand and be objective about it. Be like a surgeon who is cutting into somebody, even if they know that person, being objective about it to save their life. The more thorough you are, the more objective you are about your sins, the more you participate in the salvation of your soul. The more sincere you are about it, the more you participate in your own salvation. You have to be sincere by making a good list and go down the 10 Commandments, beginning with, the first and ending with the last. Have I made something else an idol in my life? Have I taken the Lord's name in vain? In some sense, used profanity. Have I missed Mass? Have I avoided this? Have I not rested on the Sabbath? Have I not thought about God enough? Do I avoid prayer? Do I not honor my father and my mother? There was one person who went into the confessional, not having been to confession in many, 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 many years, lived a life of sin, and finally went back to the church, went to confessional. And he just didn't know what to say, and he just said, I've broken all the commandments. And the wise priest said, even murder? I forgot about that one. Know the commandments. Make a list of your sins through the commandments and bring them to the confessional. Be objective. And that even may mean being humble, being humiliated. It's important to do that. So when you go to Christ, don't hold anything back. He already knows. And in the same way, he held back knowledge from them who held back knowledge from him, even though he knew what they were already thinking. He will hold back grace in our lives if we hold back humility from him. Wow. Thank you all for joining us today. You are all in my prayers. God bless you.